This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
Moving on, next we move to our basics. That's the Android Basics segment, and today we're looking at the App Store of the Samsung One UI. John brings us a preamble to that segment, and now here's John showing you that interface.
Hi, today we're going to be continuing our exploration of Samsung's One UI. Last week Warren showed you the home screen, and today I'm going to be showing you the Apps screen, or Apps Drawer, and a few additional settings that go along with it. So I'm on the home screen now, and in order to get to the App Drawer, I'm going to swipe up with 2 fingers.
App screen, page 1 of 8. Google folder, 3 notifications.
And as you heard, it said I'm on the app screen and I'm on page 1 of 8. And the way Samsung has this laid out is there are pages that you swipe through horizontally. So it's not a vertical list of all of your apps, but it is pages of all of your apps that you need to swipe from right to left to get through. So I'm going to do that.
Page 2 of 8.
As
Visual
you can see,
page 3 of 8. Bixby Vision.
this is how you get through them. I'm going to go back to page 1.
Page 1 of 8. Google folder, 3 notifications.
And the way Samsung has it set up by default, this is what they call the custom order. And so there's no sorting, automatic sorting at all. These are just randomly placed, and each app is in a specific location, and you can move it if you want to, and it'll stay in the spot that you move it to. And they also have folders up here in front of all the apps.
Microsoft folder.
So the first few items
Samsung folder.
are folders, and I'm going to show you how
Microsoft Google folder, 3 notifications.
you can remove a folder if you don't want to use folders on your app screen. So you're going to long press.
Google edit box disabled. 3 quick options. Edit folder name button. Select button.
These are the options.
Add to home button. Delete folder button.
I'm going to delete it.
Delete folder. The apps in this folder will still be available on the app screen. Cancel button. Delete button.
I hit
Home.
delete.
Page 9 of 9. Maps.
And as you can hear, it has put me on page 9, and that's because it took all of those apps that were in the Google folder and it dumped them at the end of my app drawer or apps screen. And the reason I showed you this is because, well, to show you how to delete folders, but also to show you where new apps go. So if you were to go to the Play Store and download a new app, it would just go on the last page of your app screen, and if that page was full, it would just add another page. Now I'm going to go back to page 1.
Page 8 of 9. Page 5 of 9. Page 4 of 9. Page 2 of 9. Page 1 of...
Okay, so I'm on page 1 now. I'm going to show you a way that you can create a folder. So the way Warren showed you last week, where you double tap and hold on an item and move it on top of another item to create a folder, you can only do that on the home screen, because if you double tap and hold an app here on the app screen, it's going to put you on the home screen, and then when you release your finger, it'll just put it in that spot on the home screen. So there are a couple of ways you can do this. The first being actions. So I'm going to put an app in focus.
Gallery.
And I'm going to bring up the actions menu, because as of this recording, Samsung's version of TalkBack does not support actions as a reading control. If it did, which it will in the near future, you can just swipe up or down to get to the actions. But because I can't do that right now, I'm going to bring up the actions menu with a gesture. You can also get to it from the TalkBack menu by default.
Actions. Move item.
As you can see, the first in the list is move item. I'm going to double tap that.
Home. Move to Microsoft folder.
So I can put it in a folder.
Move to Samsung folder. Create folder with calculator.
Or I can create a folder with any
Create
of these
folder
apps.
with calendar. Create folder with camera.
So I'm just going to do it.
Folder created. Camera.
So now I'm in the folder. It doesn't have a name.
Select folder color button.
You can select the color.
Add apps to folder button.
Add additional apps here.
Folder name edit box.
And rename it here. So just like you learned last week on the home screen, you can do all that same stuff here. on the app screen. I'm going to back out.
Folder closed. Microsoft folder.
Now I'm going to show you how to change the order because a lot of people won't like this custom order that Samsung has by default. They just want their apps alphabetical. And in order to do that, you just find the more options near the top right.
More options button. Pop-up window. Sort.
And you hit sort.
Pop-up window. Selected custom order.
Custom order is selected, but we want
Not selected alphabetical order.
alphabetical, so I'm going to go there.
Home. More options button.
Let's see what we have now.
Folder.
That's the folder we added.
Microsoft folder.
These are the folders that were
Samsung
there.
folder.
And then
At voice.
alphabetical,
ABNB.
just how we want it.
Acapla TTS voices.
Now, because we cannot move the location of these apps now, that method I just showed you for creating folders is not going to work because there won't be an action for moving an item because it has to stay in place. So I'm going to show you the second way that you can create a folder, and I actually think this is a better way because you can select multiple items. So I'm just going to put something in focus.
Audible.
I'm going to long press it.
Audible. 7 quick options for Audible.
Let's see what we have.
Widgets button.
I'm swiping to the left.
Uninstall button. Add to home button. Select button.
Select. So when you hit select,
Folder not selected.
it'll put you in a selection mode where you can go through your app screen and choose all of the items you want to select. So I'm just going to select a few random things on different pages.
Page 2 of 9. Contacts not selected. Contacts selected. Page 3 of 9. Calendar. Fire TV not selected. Fire TV selected.
So that's enough. I have 3 things selected. And once you have everything selected that you want to create a folder, near the top right,
Create folder button.
you'll have a create folder button. If I tap that, it'll create a folder and put me in there, just like I showed you earlier. And then from there, you can name the folder, change the color of the folder, or add additional apps. But while I'm in this selection mode, I'm going to show you the other option. So I said near the top right is create folder, but near the top left
Uninstall button.
is uninstall. So if you have a few apps that you want to uninstall all at the same time, this is how you can select them all at once and then hit uninstall. The only thing I will say is that it will confirm every app. So if you select 10 different apps you want to uninstall and do it this way, it's going to ask you if you're sure on each of those 10 apps. So it's a bit of a process. If you want to clean house, as I like to call it, it's best to do that from the Play Store. And we recently showed you how to do that from the Play Store in our recent series on the Play Store. So if you're going to be uninstalling a lot of things at once, I recommend doing it that way. But this is also an option. I'm going to back out of this.
Duplo world.
And I'm just going to go to more options again near the top right,
More options button.
so we can explore some of these settings.
Pop-up window. Sort. Settings.
The second and last option is settings. Let's open it up.
Home screen settings. Navigate up button. Home screen settings. Search button. Home screen layout. Home and app screens.
So this first option, you can choose between home and app screens or just app screens. And what this will do is it will remove your home screen so that when you hit the home button, it just takes you directly to the app screen. This is sort of similar to how an iOS device is laid out. If you've ever used an iPhone, that's how they do it. So if you want to do it that way, you can here.
Home screen grid. 4x5.
This is how many icons you want on your home screen. There are a few choices to choose from, not that many, but you can adjust the grid size.
App screen grid. 4x6.
Same with the app screen. You can adjust how many apps you want to show per page.
Folder grid. 3x4.
And same within folders. So those folders I just showed you how to create and that Warren showed you how to create last week, you can adjust how many fit per page of the folder.
Add media page to home screen. Google Discover.
So if you'll notice, by default, there is a Google Discover page to the left of your home screen. So if you swipe right with 2 fingers, it'll take you there. Here you can choose to have Google's or Samsung's newsfeed there, or
On add media page to home screen. Switch.
You can just turn it off, which I like to do, so I'm turning that
Off.
off. Next we
Show
have...
app screen button on home screen off switch.
Now what this will do, if you don't like the gesture of swiping up with 2 fingers to go to the app screen, you can have an actual button added to your home screen. So if I turn this on, that's what that will do. And it will put it to the very bottom right of your screen. So whatever icons you have on your dock, it will be the last icon all the way to the right on your dock.
Lock home screen layout. Prevent items on the home screen from being removed or repositioned. Off switch.
And I don't know why you want to do this, but if you want to prevent, I guess, accidental modifications of your home screen, you can lock it here.
Add new apps to home screen off switch.
And this is whether or not you want new apps that you install from the Play Store to go to the home screen automatically or just be added to the app drawer.
Hide apps on home and app screens.
Now here is where you can go to hide apps, and I've had to do this in certain situations because Samsung will not let you disable some apps, and best case scenario in that situation is to just go here and hide the app from the app drawer so you'll never see it. It'll still be on your phone, but at least you won't have to see it.
App icon badges show with number.
This is whether you want icon badges to show or show with number or not show at all.
On app icon badges switch. Swipe down for notification panel. Open the notification panel by swiping down anywhere on the home screen. On switch.
So this is just so you don't have to swipe from the very top if you don't want to. So just swiping anywhere on the screen with 2 fingers downward will bring up notifications.
Rotate to landscape mode. On switch.
And this setting only applies if you don't have your screen rotation locked. And what it will do is it will rotate your home screen when you're holding your phone in landscape. And that's all the settings. It's a pretty simple launcher, but it is very customizable. So now I'm going to kick it back to the podcast crew for further discussion.
Thank you so much, John, for that preamble to this segment. And really, I like the Samsung One UI. I don't know, the more we get into it, the more I fall in love with the Samsung One UI. There's only one thing, though, John, that I noticed that is missing there, and I don't know why Samsung hasn't done that. And what I'm talking about is that ability to have the keyboard pop up automatically once you jump into the apps drawer. I thought that they will put it in the settings there when you tap on that more options on the top right, but it's not there because like the OnePlus 10T that I demonstrated, it has it like that. You have to enable that if you want the keyboard to pop up automatically. So it is something that somehow Samsung just forgot about, or maybe it's not important. What do you think?
I guess it's an extra step, having to actually double tap on the search button to do it. I'm curious though, does the Pixel launcher allow you to do that or not?
Yeah, for the Pixel, as soon as you bring up the Apps Drawer, the keyboard pops up at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I like that. The older ones didn't do that, but then they updated it to where it becomes that way, I think, as of Android 13, if memory serves me right. Or it started actually, I think, with Android 12, but then they took it away in Android 13, somewhere there, and then they brought it back. So, but I like that. But some other ones, like the OnePlus I just mentioned, you have to enable it in the settings so that every time you go in there, it pops up.
So just a side topic there, because we were talking about the OnePlus 10T. OnePlus has launched a new launcher, a new version of the launcher that gives you a cleaner UI, the cleaner version of Oxygen OS. So we need to take a look at that.
Is that coming with the Android 14 beta?
Yeah, Oxygen OS 14 beta.
Really, I had wanted to keep my OnePlus 10T, but because it doesn't support, my network, so I just couldn't justify keeping it. So I had to send it back. Another thing that is worth mentioning here, John, that I really like is that when you are in that apps drawer of the Samsung One UI, that at the bottom, you'll see all of those pages. So if you don't want to swipe from right to left to get, to the next page or to go back to the previous one, just like I showed in the home screen. You still have those pages there at the bottom of that apps in whatever page you're on. So you could just jump to whatever page you want. Say you have 10 pages there in your apps drawer and you want to jump to page 10 or you want to jump to page 7 or whatever. You just tap the page number at the bottom and it'll take you to it.
Yeah, that's true. And after a while, you kind of start to, once you do it enough, you kind of start to remember what page or close to what page each part. Depending on how you have it sorted, if it's alphabetical, you kind of know where to go to get to a certain place. Or even if it's just like custom pages and you have it set up, if you've set it up yourself, you know what page to go to for specific things.
I always use the Finder to search for an app, rather than going to pages, like writing the few letters of the app, and I'm gonna find that app.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really working
much
so
faster.
good. The Finder is so good that it even lets you search within the shortcuts, within the settings, and even within the web. It's really really good, just like a search bar in the Windows.
Yeah, so it's the same search that we have, on the Pixel, but Samsung, of course, trying to be like Fruitvale, calls it Finder, whatever it is. But then another funny thing, though, is the one you mentioned in there, John, and that's in the settings, where you can actually have your home screen be like a Fruitvale. That's iOS for you guys in Real Linder. And it's very interesting. I've been playing with that. Or you can actually say, hide my apps. I don't want to see apps on the home screen or on the apps drawer. That's really interesting tech. Samsung has some really interesting things going on. And I think in my mind, they're doing this to make sure that everybody's covered. If you're coming from iOS, you want to have things look the way that you used to have them, you could have them. Or if you want to hide things in their totality, go ahead, choose what suits you best. I like that approach.
Yeah, and actually, believe it or not, I've used that setting before. So on my tablet, I don't really have many apps on there, maybe like less than 50 apps. So because I only do certain things on my tablet. So it was actually better for me just to have no home screen and just have the app screen and then just have everything there organized in folders and never even have to go into an app drawer. So, even though we make fun of it because it's the iOS way, in some cases, you might want to do it that way. It's nice that it's an option.
Exactly. And I think another one that's kind of gets the crown for me is the ability to organize folders there in the App Store. It's something that is missing from the Pixel launcher, and I kept hoping and hoping after hope that one of these days we'll have the capability of having that, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention it in the demonstration, but those apps, or those folders that you create on the app screen, if you also want them on your home screen, you can just add them to the home screen just as you would any app, and then you have it in both places. So you don't have to create it twice if you want it in both places.
Beautiful.